Homies, come settle down with me. What a great day. And honestly, not even because of the lifts. The lifts weren't even like super great. The snatches, I will give myself credit. They flew. Clean and jerks went just as good. I just kept bumping into the fact that my phone wouldn't charge on 10% and kept dying every time I tried to record. I got fed up with waiting too long. My body kept cooling down when I needed it to amp up. Grabbed a homie's phone, recorded the last 2 sets. So when you get to the end, the quality is not going to be great for the final 2 attempts, but whatever, you know? Doesn't matter that the video looks perfect. It matters that the lifts are done as best as we can in that moment. I was definitely a bit rushed, which is probably why I wasn't thinking about the technique as much, but whatever. What are we going to do? Had a bit of a different idea today. Decided it'd be a good idea to really focus on what my strengths are in this program, because I'm always saying these programs work best based off of how passionate they make you to do them. You know, you want a program that makes you want to come in and lift, not one that makes you feel like shit. And I typically love every day that I work out, but pretty consistently the third day I lift in a row has always been a bit of a drag. You know, it always kind of takes my CNS out. I don't have enough energy to really whip it as hard as I want to, yada yada yada, whatever. You can say it's all excuses, but my energy levels matter, and the motivation can only boost it so much. You know, your mental can only make your physical matter so much less to an extent. You know, you got to have at least enough to put your money where your mouth is, you know? So instead of focusing with Olympic lifting on overall rep volume, like I've been doing with my power lifts, because I'm doing the 5-3-1 split that works really well for me, just working up to a top set of whatever feels really good for very good technique, a good grind, you know, kind of like a comfy failure top set. Not something that really takes my whole life away. You know, I'm not dying under the bar fighting for it, but I'm giving it as much as I can without giving it everything, you know? They're training PRs, you know, that's all it is. It's not a comp PR, but it's a training PR, and that's what it's supposed to be. We're peaking, you know, we're trying to get to that point where we can go as hard as we want later on, or on certain days. So keeping the powerlifting where it is, because that works really well for me, just doing a top set of whatever reps for the conditioning. But Olympic lifting for reps has always felt so awful, you know, even doing a double. Like snatching is okay because it's such a one and done, quick whip, lockout overhead, and you're done kind of movement. You can drop it right away. Clean and jerk is much more strength based, even though the technique of course matters just as much. There's a lot more strength based, uses a lot more CNS to a point, because it's 2 lifts in one. You know, you can't just have the clean locked out and then the split jerk will be just as easy. The split jerk is always harder because you have to have the core strength to hold your dip and drive position before jumping underneath the barbell. It was not as great as I would have wanted it to be today, but again, I want this day to transition from being an all-out, you know, fuck around, do whatever I want kind of day to a true recovery day, where it allows me to take a rest day after that third day and come back at 100%, and I can do whatever I want without a question of my abilities. You know, I'm not supposed to be going balls to the walls today, even though tomorrow's a rest day, because I want to be able to actually fully recover. You need the rest at a minimum once you've hit a breaking point, but if you can't fully recover your muscles by the time you get back, you're not going to be able to peak the way that you want to. So rather than doing a top double today on my power snatches and my power clean and jerks to prep for the heavy snatch and clean and jerk day when I come back, I'm doing similar to the power lifts. It's a 5-3-1 split, just as I am doing with my squats and bench. However, rather than focus on the rep volume, I'm focused on the set volume. So it makes it to where the warm-ups don't absolutely tank my energy doing triples or doubles every single warm-up set going up to a heavyweight. And then by the time I get to that top weight that I'm aiming for, I can do a proper progressive overload percentage-based program with it without it feeling like I'm not putting in enough, but also not working too hard to where I can't do it properly and actually recover through those lifts. You know, so the first volume week will be 5 singles, because that just feels equivalent to 1 top triple. It's not. It's definitely going to be easier, but it's supposed to be. You know, I want to find something that's more optimal for what I'm currently trying to do. And then the second week, 3 singles like I did today at whatever top weight is programmed. And then the last week will be a top single of whatever my current max out is. Because I want to actually plan the lifts that I want to hit when it comes to the Olympic lifting, because I care about those in the strength weight. I have to start deviating where my wants are when it comes to what needs to grow at a certain rate and what needs to grow at its own rate. Because obviously I can't force my body to get stronger as I want it to, but I can give it the best chance possible and get used to the conditioning it takes to get ready for competition, because that's the biggest goal right now. So I am going back to more of a percentage-based progressive overload, but to the extent of the powerlifting days are going to be one warm-up weight beneath whatever the top heavy weight is going to be that week, so I can prep for it, do the same volume, just slightly less weight for a power movement, which is harder to do heavier weight of the power movement, obviously, than your full lift, so that when I come back and I do that one warm-up weight higher, I can focus more on the technique rather than going balls to the walls, ruining my technique, hurting my knee, blowing up my joints, blowing up my CNS, and vice versa. Can come back the day after and have enough energy to go as hard as I want on the bench and squat heavy day. So I'm really proud of the effort. The snatches went great. I didn't sit around much. I got up to 220 because the way that I go by 10% increments of weight increase when it comes to progressive overloads based off my max top single I'm going for. Snatch will be 275. So the increments on normal snatches would be 220, 250, 275 for 5 singles, 3 singles, 1 single. Vice versa, on the power lift, you just knock it down one peg and you start at 195. Then you do the 220 like I did today. Next week will be 250 because I don't want the powers to match the full lifts. I want them to accessorize the full lifts. Really get the technique and not burn myself out. Because I took an extra day. If you didn't notice, I wasn't here yesterday. I took an extra day to really let my knee heal, get my shit together. Best decision I could have made. Definitely was pissed off about it, but you got to be pissed in the moment to know that you actually care about it, right? So, really happy I did that. Came back. There's just slight buggage, but like nothing at all for the most part when it comes to my knee being a little burnt out. I think it's just I injured the end of my quad right next to my quad tendon. My quads strengthen the stability of my quad tendon, which I injured so long ago. So, one branch after another. If the quad's not there, the quad tendon can't stabilize because that's permanent damage I did way long ago. If the quad tendon can't stabilize, it gets more and more damage the more I go too hard. Again, I'm not going to force this program to work exactly the way I want it to, but if it's there, I'm going to give it the best effort that I can according to what I want to do. So snatches went beautifully. Couldn't be happier. It was a great recovery day that is going to prep me so well when I come in day after tomorrow to do my 3 singles at 250 for normal snatch. I think that'll be a really, really good way to get some good consistency on, because it'll also train me to get better at just doing the singles, because I always have worse technique long term doing so much volume while doing thumb tape hook grip, because I don't strap up when I lift like this. So it's tough. One way or another, went great. All beautiful reps. Power clean and jerk went a lot not as well because, first of all, yapped a little too much. That's my bad, but it wasn't a big deal. My phone started dying, like I said, so I had to take so much rest time in between to let it charge as slowly as it was going. Again, ended up grabbing the homie's phone. Video quality is going to be worse later on. Yada, yada, yada. Whatever. The lift got done. The only thing that I'm not happy with, the powers were great. Really, really good at, even though I was a little bit tired and taking too much rest and cooling down too much, really good third pulls. Getting it all the way to the hips and pulling as high as I can so I don't have to worry about losing my core strength as I catch it. It was the cooling down definitely made the split jerk harder. I just didn't have that strong shoulder and elbow stability I had on the snatches, vice versa with my core was a bit depleted. So when I go down to the dip and drive, even though it was stable and vertical, I definitely was not pushing through as hard as I needed to. But the front foot just needed to get out an extra inch or two at the most. I just wasn't thinking about it. I was more worried about getting the videos as fast as I could so I wouldn't bother my homie or wouldn't let my phone die. That's my bad. The prioritization should have been a little bit more on the weights, but we all have days like this. It happens. Got to take it on the chin. Move on. One way or another. They went good. They were good lockouts. It felt good at the very least. So now that I know that I did it that way, when I come back for my main clean and jerk day after tomorrow, I will be able to lock it in twice as hard. I ran into a homie the other day. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but he's the guy that's got 3 fingers on one arm. You can't really see it. He was in one of my shorts the other day. He's got 3 fingers on one hand, and on the same side of his body, that leg below the knee is gone. And he comes in with his prosthetic, not even a prosthetic for his hand. He just full grips whatever he does and just does the best of his ability and does it so well. He can squat 355 for a solid double on one fucking leg, man. That is crazy. I love being inspired by people like that. But the bigger thing that really inspired me by that guy was he walked over to the hack squat. We have one in our gym, which sucks. It's a great machine to use for everybody, and I think everybody should use it, especially for bodybuilding. I'm not an accessory guy, so that doesn't really apply to me. But anyway, he asked him if he could work in, and the only response he gets is, hell no. I'm not dealing with your shit. Brother, the way I wanted to get in that man's face, be like, you messing with my fucking peg-legged friend over here. But no, the biggest thing that I know personally that homie also reminded me of in the moment, he walked away, he said, you know what, man, he can be a dick all he wants. Because I know I'm happy, I know I'm doing the best I can, I know I'm lifting great and having a good time. Why am I going to let him being a dick ruin my workout? Brother, let me just tell you, the power that comes with being able to ignore negativity is unfucking matched. It is a different ball game in this world when you can just take that negativity, laugh about it, and just move on in the moment. Because one of the things I like to tell people a lot is when you go through something really shitty or something that's really hanging over your head, you know you're over it when you can joke about it, talk shit about it, you know? I've gone, like, everybody's worst traumas, you got little jokes you can shoot the shit about and not feel bad about it anymore, you know? And to me, that's when you've truly started to move on, you know? So, I love when people try to make me upset. Not because I want it to happen, of course not. That's stupid. I would always, in a perfect world, I would want to have only positive interactions every day, all the time, no in between. But we live in a human world. You're going to run into people like that. People are always going to try to come at you in some certain way when you're either least expecting it or just out of the fucking blue in general. Just for damn near no reason other than to, maybe they had a bad day, maybe they are projecting, maybe they're just pissed off because they have shit going on in their lives or they didn't get over whatever they should have gotten over a long time ago. But that ain't my fucking problem. Let me tell you, the fact that somebody can send me some shit, some really diabolical shit, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I work in a psych unit. It's basically my job to get my shit together. But somebody can, like, you know, especially people like that I have been friends with that aren't anymore, they can send me the most diabolical shit. And if I can't explain to you how good it feels to be able to laugh at that shit and then move on instantaneously. I open my phone, I see it, I have a little chortle, and I put the phone right back down. Delete that shit, move on. Because who cares? Their short-term negativity has nothing to do with your long-term longevity. That you are loving life, you know? It's also the fact that I know for a fact that if they have enough time to bitch in their life and have that little bit of, you know, just try to be petty, being a little bit messy, that they just feel the need that they have to do that. And then I get to go off and be with my beautiful partner and my wonderful family and my wonderful friends and my homies that always have my back no matter what. It's always one thing to be able to laugh about it by yourself and know for a fact in your own mindset and your own ideologies that you're cool about it. It's not a big deal. You can move on real quick. But being able to laugh about it with the homies is what really helps out in a major way, you know? Of course, I'm not ever going to sit here and say that I absolutely need support every single time. But people need people, you know? Relationships are king. And I surround myself with the people that not only uplift me, but I get the chance to uplift them just as much, you know? There is no obligation. There is no bickering. There is no constant back and forth. It's just complete understanding that every single time anything comes up, whether it's positive or negative in our lives, it's not how will they react, should I be worried? It's how are we going to support each other and make it an even better day than it already could have been in the first place. Because all that extra petty bullshit it does not fucking matter. It's so stupid. You know, it is so funny that no matter what age group you're in, you'll always have people like that that just have so much time on their hand to just talk shit for no other reason than to either stroke their ego, make their bad day feel better, or project their own sadness onto other people. And you just gotta, you shut that shit down. You turn it on. And the funny thing is, it's not even worth responding. You know, people are always like, don't let them talk shit like that to you. That's my strength. Damn it. You let people do whatever the fuck they, obviously not to the furthest extent. You know, when you get in danger, you make the move to figure your own shit out. But if it's just words, dude, words are bullshit. Words don't mean shit compared to actions. And if someone's just going to sit there and talk shit, I already know you're full of shit. But one way or another, I'm not sitting here trying to get all dramatic or, you know, overheated about it. It's just, it's nice to be able to have such a great environment, such a great positive daily life with people that support me no matter what, no matter where I am, no matter what time it is. People call me and they said, that happened? I'll be there right now. I'm like, what? When somebody said, I love those memes of when people are like, hey man, what you want? It's like, oh, I didn't bring money. It's like, I didn't ask. I'm like, oh, brother, I love treating people and I love it when people treat me. It's so nice. Just that little bit of raw positivity for no fucking reason other than just get the homies moving. So fuck all the bullshit is all I'm saying. Today may have not been the most perfect day lift-wise. I may not have been that locked in or that I may not have prioritized the lifts as much as I needed to. But if I had a good day, if I was passionate, if I did what I wanted to do and felt good doing it, we'll be fine. We'll be all right. Because you take it on the chin. You don't let the little bullshit get to you. The little voices mean fucking nothing when it comes to the positive yelling you got from all the homies around you, all the positive experiences you're going through. I choose to love every step and, you know, move on with my daily life. There's no point in playing victim or sitting there thinking, whatever, poor me, you know, this happened to me or this person feels this way about me and it's not fair. I don't give a shit. You move on. Take your life for what it is. Prioritize what is going to make your life positive and good every single day. Surround yourself with that shit. And if the negative shit is going to stay negative, you let them stay in the past while you leap into your best future. Physically, and nothing crazy, but it felt all right. I mean, I can give it a very solid 7.9. It wasn't even, because it wasn't bad by any means. It felt great. It just kind of a mediocre day, which honestly, a 7.9 being mediocre, I'm grateful for that alone. Mentally, easy 8.75. It was a great day. I had a really great day. And I'm almost off night shift, which is nice. So I'll be able to get on an actual good schedule, be able to recover better, have an even better daily schedule, better positive daily life. And it's nice to have so many people around me being like, hey man, I hope you do good. Because nobody's being like, no, don't leave. You know, of course they'd rather me stay with them if that were the case. But the people who care about you the most or want you to succeed or want to uplift you are going to understand that whatever steps you're taking for the best of your own ability, for the sake of just living the best that you can, the happiest you can. No matter what happens, you got to stick up for one another and make sure you support the people who are going to support you. Okay. Rest day tomorrow. I know it's weird that I took a rest day. Now I'm back and taking another rest day, but even though I have out of nowhere rest day sometimes, I still got to stick to the program. Tomorrow is still supposed to be a rest day. Today was supposed to be the third day in a row. So I'm going to treat it that way and come back and do a heavy ass snatch and clean and jerk day when I come back. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a 255, 3 sets of 1, and 3 singles at 295 on clean and jerk. And we're just going to take it one step at a time, keep loving every step, letting the little shit fly by. Because it's only going to have as much meaning as you give it. Appreciate y'all listening. I'll be back 2 days from now, day after tomorrow. Let me know how the Lives and Lives been going. Love hearing about it. And I love you guys. See you later. Bye.